Hello everyone, Via here, and in this video review we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Generations Thrilling 30 Deluxe Class Rattrap. Normally first we would look at the packaging, but because this figure is a bit older I don't have it, so I do have though what he came with, which was the instructions, which are just a nice big flat sheet of instructions that show the conversion from robot to rat, and then on the other side the rat mode to the robot mode. And these Thrilling 30 figures also came with a comic book, one of the issues of the IDW comic series with some exclusive cover art. Rattrap should be featured in this issue. Waspinator's there. You can see Shockwave, flipping through some more, Optimus and Rodimus, and it's just a random issue from the IDW series. They never really took much care into actually, normally the characters featured on the cover only really appeared in like one panel. I haven't actually read this because I haven't read the IDW comics, but it's a cool bit of artwork though. And now to the figure. So these figures were kind of a surprise. There were 4 different Beast Wars figures in the Thrilling 30 line. I only managed to get 3 of them. I couldn't find a Waspinator when they came out, but I did want to get these, and they're kind of irrelevant now that the next chapter of the War for Cybertron trilogy, Kingdom, is going to be happening, and we are actually getting a new Rattrap in a more scout-sized size class. But I thought I'd get through these original Thrilling 30 figures before those come out, because I do plan on getting at least the first wave of those Kingdom figures. And these will be great comparisons. So, coming in close here on the rat mode, you can see it's a pretty ratty looking head sculpt. They didn't really go for cartoon accuracy or real life accuracy with these. They just kind of made a rat, and it looks okay. You can see he's got his black beady eyes there with the nose. His teeth are painted in white inside of his ears there. Along the back, they have this brown paint there on his butt, which I feel like they kind of half-assed this, because they could have had this go all the way up the back, but they didn't. They just put it on the butt. I don't know if they were saying, okay, we want cartoon accuracy, so we got to make it, all gray, but we want a bit more real life, so we put the brown on there. I don't know, but there is that there. Some ugly looking cutouts there in the shoulder, but the feet are molded in a much more fleshy colored plastic, as well as the tail. Underside has some robot stuff, his head, his shoulders, his arms, but that's okay. It's a beast mode. They're always going to have some kibble. Articulation wise, the head can move down. It can't really move up at all, but it can move down. And actually the back of the head is revealed, but there is a little panel here that, if you can see, you can slide out to actually cover that. Which I think I know what that's for, and I'll cover that in a second. The mouth can open up about that far, so you can kind of see more of the teeth painted in there. Not super well, but they are in there, and some of them are painted. These front legs have a rotation, although the feet kind of get in the way. You can kind of rotate them up about that far and back about that far. The feet are on a mushroom peg swivel, so they do rotate. These back legs don't really move, because they can only move back, and when you do, it just opens up a gap. So I don't think they're really meant to do that. The feet can pivot up and down on a hinge, and the tail is on a hinge, but it also has a bendy wire in here. So I just kind of leave it at this, but it actually is a bendy wire that can flex and keep positions, which is pretty cool for a deluxe figure like this. That's a pretty neat little detail. Get him standing there. To talk about he comes with 2 accessories, but the other one is integrated right now. We'll show that off more for robot mode. His other accessory is his gun, which is molded in this weird clear-ish plastic, which isn't actually that durable. I have a big crack down the port here where they separate. They can separate into 2 different guns here, this little pistol and this gun, both of which he did use in the cartoon. These the guns here are the most screen accurate, cartoon accurate part of this figure. He did use both of these guns in the cartoon, and as well, these combined together, he did actually use this gun in the cartoon as well. So that's pretty neat. And this can store on the wrap mode. You can see under here, there is a port right down there, and a big gap there, specifically designed for this to sit in. The handle will just peg into that port, and that'll just sit under there in between the arms, which is pretty nice that there is weapon storage. So now, for comparison, get him kind of off to the side here. Here he is next to the other Beast Wars figures that came out alongside him. Here he is with Voyager Rhinox. And we'll throw in Deluxe Tankor as well. So you can see how he scales with those two figures if you have those. I think they look pretty good together. I wish I had Waspinator, but I don't have him. So we're going to get them out of the way. And we're going to bring in my standard comparisons again. Here he is with Combiner Wars Alpha Bravo. So you can kind of get a sense of how he scales with Alpha Bravo in vehicle mode. And here he is with the Figma Kyoko Sakura. So you can kind of see how tall the rat is. And to get a better comparison with her, actually, it is posable enough to do the thing he did in the cartoon a lot, where he would actually stand. So what you can pull these down and kind of flatten the feet out and bring the tail back. You can bring the head down, and this is where that panel comes in. To cover that, I like to open his mouth a little bit. And then you can rotate the hands so that they are kind of more hand-like orientation. And you can kind of have him standing up in a sort of bipedal fashion, which is pretty neat. And you can kind of see how tall he is compared to Miss Sakura here. When he's standing up like this. I want to believe that's what that panel's for, because there's no other reason for that panel to be there. So I want to believe that they intended you to do this. Based on the leaks, the Kingdom figure cannot do this, so that's pretty cool that this one can. And hopefully when we get a Masterpiece one, he'll also be able to stand up like this, because I quite like that. I think that's kind of funny. So that leads us into robot mode, his other bipedal form, where you gotta, first step is remove the gun. You have to get that out of the way. So the first step here is, you can move these legs in a couple of different ways. I'm just gonna show the way I personally like to do it. So I rotate the hands around on their mushroom pigs like that, and then come under here and open these panels up. And you can see the way this works is there's this tab here that goes into that slot in the arm. This tiny tab here goes like behind this piece. And this tab in the front goes underneath that part there. This is on a double hinge, so you just want to bring this up all the way. And it does have a stopping point up there. That's as far up as it can go. So you want to bring it up all the way. Like this. And then I like to just bring the legs like down as far as they can go. They do have a stopping point as well. Next, take the butt part. You can see how the legs and arms are situated in here. And you do want to, the easiest way to get this all undone is to just pull up on the butt piece. And you can kind of see, we're going to pull the arms up as well. Just bring them back at the elbow like this. And if we pull out on one of the rat legs, you can kind of see how this works. So this is on a slider, and there is that part in there that the ass end will clip into. So you want to get those clips undone. Just bring these out. He kind of looks like a mess, an exploded mess right now, but we're going to get there. So this whole back section comes up on a double hinge. You can see that hinge right in there. And you do want to bring that up, fold the tail up, and flip the butt in like that. And just push this as far up as it can go. He does have a bit of a backpack, but that's just how beast formers go. So we're going to work on the legs first. The way the legs work is pretty interesting. So you want to bring this whole section up, this flat section, and you want to flatten it out. It is on a hinge. And you can kind of see, I actually had that piece snap. I don't know if that's a common issue, but I'm being real careful with it because there is a crack there. I don't want this figure to snap apart. It's fine once the whole leg is locked together, but that transformation step kind of scares me to do a little bit. So, and then the rat leg here, is on a slider, like I said, so you want to push it in. Make sure that foot is down, and this side section you can see is on a hinge, so this folds around to the back, which flattens that out and has a tab there for the slot right there in the leg. So you can push that together to tab that all together, and then flip the rat foot into the robot foot. And there you have a completed show accurate robot leg, which is pretty cool the way they figured out how to do that. And the other leg is exactly the same minus the crack. This leg on mine doesn't actually have a crack in it, which is nice. They have the robot legs all done. Next, you kind of want to grab the arms here because they're on a hinge and they're ball jointed, so you just want to pull them out a bit to get those hinges up, and then you can spread them out. These square parts on the shoulders sit in the cavity there. So you want to pull those up. These little gear sections you can see are angled. You just want to bring those up on those hinges so that they are straight, and then you can bring the arm down and around and rotate it at the elbow so it's oriented properly. So just bring that down, rotate the elbow forward, and they have the arms all done. And now the last step is the regular, very standard beast former transformation we've seen since the 90s. Just take the animal head, fold it down. That will kind of lock into place to form the head, or to form the chest. And there you have Rattrap in his robot mode. The transformation was okay. It was a pretty good transformation, I think. And it leads to a pretty all right looking robot mode. Not entirely show accurate. If I could find the part where he is in the comics, I would tell you whether he is or isn't comic accurate. I'll probably throw some text up there just saying whether or not he is comic accurate or not. But he does have a bit of a backpack. But the arms and legs look pretty good. That head sculpt is weird, though. I'm not a fan of that head sculpt. It doesn't really look show accurate at all. It looks a little weird and mean. I'm not into it. The ears, the rat ears, also look really big compared to... I feel like they could have made the rat ears smaller, and it wouldn't have looked fine in the rat mode, and it would have made the robot mode look a lot better. But he does have the little gears in his shoulders like he did in the show. The shoulders are shaped the same way. He's got the little maximal symbols on his arms there. His hands are open, which is pretty interesting. They aren't like closed fists like most of these figures are. The legs have some silver paint that actually rubbed off on these hinges, which kind of sucks, but that's the way it is. He's got his little toes like he did in the cartoon. And overall, he looks pretty good. Articulation-wise, the head is on a swivel. It's a pretty tight swivel in there. It can look up and down. His head also has light piping. The eyes are painted over, but it shines through pretty well. Anyway, these are on a hinge, which you aren't supposed to move, but they can. Shoulders are on a ball joint, but the way they're shaped, they're kind of limited to just rotating and in and out. They don't have a lot of movement forward and back. Swivel on a mushroom peg above the elbow. Elbows can't bend 90 degrees. They can only bend that far, which is a little disappointing. Nothing at the waist. Nice free ball jointed hips, a little too free. They're a little loose on mine. Cut thigh swivel, 90-degree bend at the knee, 90-degree forward bend at the knee if you want to do that as well, and nothing at the foot due to how that all transforms. Articulation is fine for Rattrap. He kind of doesn't do anything real dynamic anyway, although a little bit more would have been nice. His weapon, like I said, can split apart into two weapons that he can hold individually in his two hands, like that, or you can peg them together as the one big rifle that he can hold in his hand like that. His other accessory is stored in his arm, just like in the cartoon, so you can flip up this little panel on only his left arm. You can flip up the little panel and push this section out. I believe the instructions label this as like binoculars or something like that, but in the show, this was actually a bomb that he would use in a couple of situations to blow things up. And he can hold that in his hand. You could use it as binoculars if you wanted, although his arms aren't really posable enough to really pull that off, but you can kind of get it in a binoculars looking pose if you really want to. But me personally, I don't use that. So I'm just going to stick that back in his arm, close that up, and stop thinking about it. And now for comparison, here he is with his fellow Generations Beast Wars figures. So we'll bring in Tankor. I'm actually going to move him to the center. My Rhinox has really loose hips, so we're going to try to get him to stand. There we go. There he is with Tankor and Rhinox. And they look good together. They do. They really do look great. I was a big fan of these guys when they first came out. Like I said, with Kingdom coming out, they might be irrelevant. I don't know. We haven't actually seen what the new Voyager Rhinox is going to look like, because this one's pretty good, so it might not top it. But I like these guys for what they are. They're good figures. So, and for my two standard comparisons as well, here he is with Alpha Bravo and Kyoko Sakura. So you can see how he scales with a more modern deluxe figure and a Figma. And that about does it for this review of Thrilling 30 Deluxe Rattrap. Like I said, the new Kingdom figures might end up replacing these guys, but I still like this figure for what he is. He definitely looks more detailed than the leaked new Kingdom Rattrap, even though that one looks a bit more screen accurate. This one looks like it has a bit more paint, a bit more detail, but you know, that is just a leak, so time will tell. And I will be reviewing that Rattrap and comparing him to this guy directly when he does fully release. So look forward to seeing that. Subscribe if you are excited for Kingdom and want to see reviews of those figures. And while you're down there in the description, I will leave links to my Twitter, my Instagram, and my Twitch channel, where I post various pictures and you know, jokes and opinions. And then on my Twitch, I like to build model kits. So if you're interested in any of those, you can check those out in the description below. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, share the video with people who you think might be interested in it. And that's it for this week. I've been Anovia, and I'll see you guys with a review this time next week. Bye-bye.